The weather is so much better than it was yesterday. Sure you don't want to give the water a try?
I'm actually waiting for Muriel. She lives in this house. I didn't get another chance to talk to her after your mother nomified everybody at the birthday party, but anything she knows about the sea hag could prove useful.
And I couldn't go swimming, even if I wanted to. The boy with glasses has decided that old people aren't allowed in the water today, which is why he won't let Aya pass.
Wait and see.
Looks like that's been settled.
Still, I'd rather sit here and enjoy the sun.
Speaking of the sun, I hope my brother has some sunlight reversal cocktail with him wherever he is now. Mum found the clothes he was wearing yesterday here on the beach this morning, but not him, so I suppose he never came back home.
I stayed awake all night reading, and no, I can't remember him ever stopping by. But I'm sure he's fine. His date must have gone really well.
What a night. Too bad you didn't stay for breakfast. Hello.
Dad? Did you lend out the aquazip again?
No. Why?
Because it's not there. Am I supposed to travel to Mua Pel'am on foot now?
Don't panic. It must be somewhere. And if not, I thought you didn't want to go anyway.
Well, it's not like I have a choice if I'm supposed to become a full-fledged mermaid. Unless you want me to join the Apostles of St. Tars, like Mum.
Hell no. Keep looking for the damn thing. I have to go and open the lounge now.
Muriel, what's wrong?
I think somebody stole our aquazip.
Aqua what?
A small motorboat. I need it for my trial to become a mermaid, and it has to be today, or else I'll have to wait another month.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Completely without any ulterior motives, right Loki?
Unless you have another boat you can borrow me for a day or two, I'm afraid not.
But we're witches. Perhaps we can find another way.
Good idea. Come in, I'll explain everything in the house.
You know, Grande, there's this transparent liquid called water that can help against overheating, and guess what? It happens to be everywhere. Why don't you go for a swim to cool down?
No thanks.
Are you afraid of exposing yourself in public? I don't have a swimsuit in your size unfortunately, but there ought to be a shop around here somewhere.
No, really, I'm fine. And I wouldn't want to leave bitch all alone out here. Perhaps she'd like to go for a walk or something.
Don't use me as your excuse. I only like to take a nap. In silence.
Suit yourself.
Aya? Aya.
Calm down, she's just iving.
Ah, so refreshing. Oh look, it's Grande in the water. What changed your mind?
What the hell were you thinking?
Excuse me?
Going down like that? I thought you were drowning.
I can swim, you know.
Just like almost everybody else, but sharks don't care about that.
There are no sharks in this shallow water, and even if there were, my magic works below the surface too.
Just don't ever do that again.
That was weird. Do you know why he's in such a bad mood, bitch?
Do I look like the Oracle of Ohan'ali town?
So you don't have access to your mermaid powers because you were born under the wrong sign, literally. When you mentioned that at the lounge, I assumed it was just a figure of speech. There are 13 known branches of magic, but not a single one of them actually uses zodiac signs as a basis for anything, as far as I know.
It's mostly a superstition really, but a very persistent one, because there aren't any known cases of this happening to mere folk born under a water sign. Those who are not have a 25% chance of not naturally developing their elemental powers during puberty. Less if both parents are mere folk, but my mother is just a human.
If that's so important, why don't people time the act of reproduction accordingly? Not the most romantic way to go about it, but if you absolutely need your offspring to be a Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces, you could just have intercourse 10 months before one of those signs is active.
They usually do just that, and my parents were no different. I just came out 2 weeks earlier than expected. Had I been born only 1 day later, I would have been a Cancer, but now I'm a Gemini, which is not a water sign, and that means I have to pass a specific trial at new moon on or after the day of my 18th birthday in order to unlock my full potential. It's a blessing in disguise that my birthday just happens to coincide with a new moon this year, so at least I won't have to wait very long.
New moon? You mean, when the moon is barely visible?
When it's not visible at all. Don't tell me you don't have moon phases where you live.
We do, in theory. It's just that the moon is always fully visible in places like Forgotten Hollow and Glimmerbrick due to magic, so it's hard to keep track of its phases. But anyway, go on. What does that trial entail?
Calling the sea hag on Mount Magma and hoping that she'll deem me worthy. That alone isn't too difficult. Getting there in one piece is. Because to call the sea hag, you need the voice of Sulani, a special conch shell that can only be found in the lost valley of Mua Pel'am, home of the behemoth.
Ah yes, the behemoth. I've heard about them, but never encountered one, because they went extinct after the calamity. Guess it got too cold for them. But there's no way around them now, if I want the sea hag to restore my voice.
Hello? Is anyone here? Is this where you live, sexy merman, whenever you're not trolling the people of Ohan'ali town and seducing innocent vampires like the Pied Piper of Sulani? I wonder if this was also the work of some mischievous siren. I'm going to need some sunlight reversal cocktail soon. Where's the bad weather when you need it? Good day to you too. Can I help you? What are these things? Okay, has anyone ever told you guys that you're weird?
That was lovely. I would have spent the rest of the day in this perfect water if not for the clouds. I'm afraid it's going to start raining again.
Yeah, rain is such a terrible invention of nature. Imagine getting wet from it while you're swimming in the ocean. Wouldn't that suck?
Do you think Grande is still angry with us?
Would you perhaps? Leave me out of this. I didn't do anything.
The little things you learn to appreciate once you've experienced what it's like not to have them, like ordering a drink and actually being served.
I'm terribly sorry about that incident yesterday. That guy who was posing as your waiter. I don't know how he does it, but he always manages to pull pranks like that behind my back.
Who is he?
A powerful merman, and a real pain in the butt. We call him Leviathan, after the biblical sea monster.
Another sea monster, of course. Those are everywhere, aren't they?
Everywhere they shouldn't be. Just like Leviathan. No one knows for sure where he came from. He's not related to anyone I know around here, but wherever he shows up, trouble is sure to follow. He didn't just take your order and never serve it yesterday. He also served drinks to people that hadn't ordered anything at all, or put stuff in those drinks that didn't belong there. A few months ago, he reportedly stole the rare ingredients I need to make Angel's Grace and used my microphone to scare customers away with the most inappropriate jokes. Both times I had to take the blame, because this is my lounge, my responsibility.
Sounds like my kind of guy. Where can I find that splendid specimen?
If you stay in this area long enough, he'll find you eventually, or you'll get caught up in one of his schemes. But trust me when I say you're going to regret it.
And you, Grande? Is there something you regret, or why are you drinking at the bar when you could be outside, enjoying the ocean?
Well, not everybody likes the ocean. Is that so hard to grasp?
It's not. I'm just wondering why you even came to Ohan'ali then, if water isn't your element, and what your overreaction to my little diving session was all about. There aren't really any sharks or other dangerous sea dwellers to worry about here, are there?
At Ohan'ali Beach? No. Just don't push your luck if you ever go swimming in Lani St. Taz or Mua Pel'am. The waters run way deeper there, and its inhabitants are much less friendly than the local dolphins and merfolk.
One can never be careful enough with anything living underwater. Thanks for the warning about the other two places. Hopefully I'll never have to go there.
I can't believe your father has no qualms about sending you to that place despite all the dangers.
He keeps insisting that it's not as bad as people make it out to be, since he survived his own trip there with little effort. Which is quite a feat, considering that he had it worse than I.
How so?
He wasn't born a merman. You know, the sea hag doesn't just help young mermaids like me, whose powers didn't develop naturally. She can also grant those powers to ordinary people, for a price.
So she's basically the ageless sage of Sulani.
Yes, only much more powerful. Good for me, because what I need from her doesn't involve turning people into merfolk.
I would appreciate your company on this journey, but I'm afraid we are not going anywhere today unless whoever stole the aquazip returns it.
Leave it to me.
Isn't that the cultist from the cathedral? What's her name again?
Shannon Hale. Are you planning on stealing her boat?
Not exactly.
Say, is there anything you can't do?
Right now, speak. And I can't wait for that to change, so let's not waste any time.
The Divine Oracle loves you. Come to Lani St. Taz to hear what they have to say, and get to know an entirely new way of life characterized by peace, harmony, and wisdom.
Funny. Just yesterday she told me they don't force their lifestyle on others.
Doesn't stop them from trying to recruit new members though. That's how they got my wife, and I banned them from my lounge, but I can't ban them from the beach.
Adam and Eve were punished for eating a fruit from the tree of knowledge, but unlike the false deity that dictated the Bible, the Divine Oracle does not want their disciples to be dumb sheep. Let the apostles of St. Taz teach you about the world, our history, and our future. Everyone is welcome.
Doesn't sound so evil to me.
There's nothing evil about it. They are the most peaceful cult you can imagine. But a cult will always be a cult. There's no evidence of the existence of a divine oracle, and if there ever was a historical person going by that name, they were most likely a fraud. Which means these people, and my wife, are praying to a higher power that simply doesn't exist, and they're not the only ones.
Such is the nature of religion.
So your ancestors were bigger animals. Similar to dinosaurs maybe, but not actual dinosaurs. That would have been too long ago. Something happened, a fire of some sort, that killed them all, and then... Is that a fruit? What could a fruit have to do with anything?
I like your new look.
Thanks. The lizard people gave me some old clothes. And now I'm trying to piece together their history.
Keep going. You'll find that Sulani as a whole is a place very, very rich in history. And everyone has their own version of it, their own explanation for how the world and all life came to be.
Which is the true version?
It's a mixture of everything, as usual. But those lizard people are especially interesting. They may look like feral predators, but they're actually somewhat intelligent. Smart enough to know a higher power when they see one.
A higher power? You mean, me?
They can't hurt you because you're a vampire. The only other species they've ever come across are ordinary humans, merfolk, and maybe witches. But you are special, which is why they let you roam freely in their valley. If you wanted, you could start a cult. You wouldn't be the first supernatural being to do so around here.
Does that mean you have your own cult too?
I don't need one. I prefer having only one follower at a time. No promises, no commitments, just a little fun.
You and I are quite similar in that regard. Good thing you're here to keep me company then, because the effects of my last cocktail are wearing off, and unless someone does something about the sunny weather, I'll be trapped in this beach ship until dusk. Wait, so those unpredictable thunderstorms in the past few days, that was your doing the entire time? And you're doing all this for a little fun, as you put it. Hot.
I can't go out there either, albeit for different reasons. You know, merman meat is considered a delicacy around here. They want to eat me up.
What makes you think you're safe in here? Because I just had the exact same thought.
Fuck. Not again. Not now. Loki, do something.
The aqua zip over there, that's ours. So the thief is here too.
That thief is probably Tiamo.
What? Why would he come to the Lost Valley? Does he have a death wish or something?
No, but I was hoping he'd come here.
So you want him dead then?
Are you always this dramatic? Trust me when I say that everything's going to be fine. Tiamo has things to take care of in this valley, just like you. He just doesn't know it yet.
Seems like we have to walk from here. Lead the way, Nuriel.
The cave over there, that's where we need to go to get the conch shell, preferably unnoticed.
Are these the behemoth? I expected him to be bigger, based on your descriptions.
Don't underestimate them. I've never seen one in action, but I know they have claws and venom.
And intelligence. See how the one over there seems to be guarding the entrance to the cave? It's like they know we're coming. We need a distraction.
I'll take care of that.
Loki.
Don't worry about me. I'm part merman, enough to draw their attention, but also part vampire, so that venom shouldn't affect me, in theory. But I'm not planning on getting caught anyway. Stay put until the coast is clear.
But
you two seem close. But you're not siblings, are you? Because I remember reading that the famous Tiamo Mammini only has a sister.
You read that right. Loki is more like... It's hard to explain.
He would fit right in with your family though. You and your mother are witches. Tiamo is apparently a vampire. You also have that strange dog that looks and behaves like it wasn't always a dog. And Loki is a hybrid of at least 3 superhuman species. I didn't even know you could be more than one at a time, but then again, why not?
I've never really thought about it to be honest. But yeah, you could be right.
Now or never.
Excuse me.
No, we don't have a moment to talk about your Lord and Savior, the unholy Oracle. I've heard enough about them yesterday. Sorry, not sorry.
No, please, I was just hoping I could take shelter here. It started raining all of a sudden, I'm banned from Remy's Lounge, and most other residents of Ohan'ali town aren't exactly friends of mine either.
I wonder why that could be. But whatever, you provided us shelter in your church, so I guess I'm in your debt. Come in.
Thank you.
Can't you just make it stop raining?
I wouldn't know how. Being a loyal follower of the Divine Oracle does not give me divine powers.
Sorry, I just assumed you were a mermaid, like almost everybody else we've met since we arrived, especially because of your blue skin.
Actually, blue skin is not a distinguishing mark of merfolk. In my case, there's a different reason for that.
Oh, you're an alien. How did that happen?
The same way those things usually happen. My mother was an alien, and my grandmother, and so on. Some hereditary traits never go away, even after many generations. I'm a descendant of one of the Divine Oracle's first disciples who later became their apostles. Just because humanity in general only learned a few decades ago that it wasn't the only intelligent species in the galaxy, doesn't mean we didn't exist before then.
But if aliens were so smart, with technology advanced enough to discover and travel to our planet centuries ago, how could they fall for that fraud you call an oracle?
Aya.
I mean, humanity as a whole must have seemed rather primitive to your alien ancestors back then. Unless the oracle was an alien too.
You told me before that you didn't want to hear anything else about the divine oracle, and since I respect your wishes, I'm not going to bore you with more stories about them.
Wise decision. If you have to bow to someone, bow to me. I'm the canine oracle.
I didn't realize that conch shell was a living being that could be caught with a fishing rod. Are you sure we're in the right place?
They say everything on the islands of Sulani is alive in a way, that you don't just choose to become part of that interplay of energies all by yourself. The island has to choose you too. This is where my trial begins, my first step towards becoming a true mermaid. If I can't find the voice of Sulani, I can't call the sea hag, and she'll never deem me worthy. I don't like it, but I don't make the rules.
Do you know of anybody who didn't make it?
You mean, someone who failed to go through with the trial, or never came back at all?
Either.
Well, rumor has it my mother wished to become a mere woman, just so she wouldn't be the only non-magical human in the family once I grew up, but the sea hag refused to help her. I was too young to remember, and my father never talks about it, instead blaming the apostles for indoctrinating her, but based on how he usually describes her, as a clingy person with low self-esteem, I can very well imagine her joining them by her own accord. She wanted to be part of something, and if she couldn't be a mere woman, it had to be something else.
So being part of your family wasn't good enough for her?
I prefer not to think about it, but... Hey! I think I've got it.
Is this what we're looking for?
Yes. I almost can't believe it. Now onto Mount Magma. Oh no.